The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high. I wonder when it all goes now, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
Yes, pleasant morning to all my peeps, to all my Energizer bunnies in the chat room, right? And all our Jamaican brothers and sisters, both home and abroad, right? Big up on yourself. Once again, thank you all for passing through Mystic Sensation. Really appreciate the support that we have been getting. Really proud of that, all right? But you know how we start this morning for Friday. As usual, Friday, you know, afternoon or morning for some, night for some, right? On the first session, you know that Byron always flies solo, right? So, of course, you'll be interacting with, you know, Byron alone today, right? But we have a lot of interesting stuff to be discussed. And as I said yesterday, which it seems like the situation being preempting me in terms of what is unfolding as it relates to what is going on in the Jamaica Labour Party, right? The momentum is heating up. And remember yesterday, I communicated that this is not going to leave social media anytime soon. And, you know, we are seeing the signs, right, that would just suggest just that in terms of what I communicated yesterday, right? We are going to get into that because the momentum is eating up, right? Now, of course, I have to meet and greet my chat room, and I want to say blessings, Emmond G90, all right, Dart McCoy, Beverly 975, and Go to Bed, Etymology, all right, bless up yourself, Falmouth Girl, bless up yourself, Falmouth Girl, and of course, okay, we have Levan Miles, right, Pamela Okolo, blessings, Pamela, right? Let me see who else I have in the chat. So I think that is, okay, Marjorie Lewis, bless up yourself. And let me see other persons. Fiona Burnett, bless up yourself. Jennifer Gentles, Jamrock, Patel Crusham, Carl Wilson, Zemrine Brown, and Sonia Graham, right? Now, this morning, right, again, it's going to be impactful, right? Going to be very much impactful as we say that the situation is getting much more serious. And at this point, I'm wondering, you know, if Donovan Williams really want to pursue this, because Rosie is not showing any sign of letting up. But before we get into that spicy action there, we had seen, right, the Senate, and I want to big up, of course, none other than Senator Cleveland Thompson, right? and, push back as it relates to persons who talking about good and solid economy, right? Cleveland Thompson said, no, it's not so, right? You people have integrity issues, have credibility issues, and so forth. And he was, pretty much forthright, right, in calling out the government as it relates to the government seems to be focusing on macroeconomics, right, while abandoning microeconomics, right? It's all, good, in terms of you can pay down the debt and you can maintain that. But how do you improve the lives of majority Jamaican? Majority Jamaicans are not seeing any improvement, right? The small, medium enterprises, right, they are suffering, right? The lies about unemployment, right, reach a level 3 that's just that is just fraud, right? Blatant fraud, lies, right? People are suffering all over Jamaica. But so that is that for the Senate, right? We are now going to thrust forward as it relates to what is happening, the revelation that is coming out, from Rosie dealing with, the corruption within the Jamaica Labour Party. It's crazy, my people. So without any delay, let us just get into that right away to show you that it is not, slowing down. As I mentioned, not slowing down. So let us get into the first information here. Right? This is extremely serious. No stopping. And Rosie is not easing up. Now here it is, people. So this now leave from one stage to the next, right? MP Williams files lawsuit against Councillor Hamilton seeking damages, right? Injunction. Now, Kingston, Jamaica, Kingston Central Member of Parliament, MP Donovan Williams, has made good on his threat to file a lawsuit against Raytown Councillor Rosie Hamilton over alleged defamatory remarks made by Hamilton about the MP. Now, them have a saying, people, shame no load, but it broke neck. And what this is telling me as it relates to Donovan here, that this man has covered himself with arrogance. And so then to the fact that Rosie called him out, right? Rosie called him a thief, where based on the allegation, right, as it relates to Rosie, if he had done those things, of course, he would be a criminal and need to be prosecuted. And so then what we are asking, because all of this seems to know that he's utilizing delay tactics, right? Because Rosie called him out, right? So all of this might be to prevent investigation. But this will not prevent investigation. We are asking MOCA, we are asking the Integrity Commission investigators. Again, we are asking the Auditor General to look at this issue based on what we are seeing revealing now in mainstream media and social media, right? So Donovan Williams pushing, right, to say that he's pursuing a case against, right, Councillor Hamilton as it relates to defamation, right? Now, investigation needs to be done. So you can do, in terms of you pursuing what you want to pursue. The fact of the matter, let me say, investigators are not to be distracted. The relevant authorities that are responsible to ensure that, government members spend taxpayers' money according to the law. Because Rosie had spoken about several breaches, as you also have taken out relief items, right, that belonging to people who are, people who suffered as it relates to Melissa, where you have taken out those items from out of the ministry, right, and giving it to your friends and come-alongs, right? That is a no-no, right? That again is a criminal activity. And again, certain crippling information as it relates to the burning down of homes to change, right, an electorate decision. You end up, right, you defeat democracy, right? You sabotage and robbed, right, the franchise of the voters. Remember, all of these that, you know, you have done according to allegation. Now, in the lawsuit filed on Thursday, William is seeking damages as well as an injunction against his fellow representative of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party and the other relief, all right, the court deems fit. Now, the filing follows a cease and desist letter sent days early by attorneys representing Williams in relation to the recording and publication of voice notes by Hamilton concerning the MP in a WhatsApp group where Williams and others were present, right? Now, as I said, my Jamaican people, this, right, doesn't have any brakes, right? Full speed ahead. Now, court documents obtained by Observer Online describe the remarks by Hamilton as baseless and untrue while claiming that Williams has become the subject of public discourse. No, I mean, look here, Donovan Williams, you are not going to say that what Hamilton accused you of is true, because if you admit that that is true, that is straight prison. You're not going to do that. And you run now to claiming that you are pursuing a lawsuit under the disguise, right, to say you're honest. No, come on, man. Come on. You're not honest. You're not honest. So let me ask you a question, Donovan Williams. If you claim that you're innocent and you are trustworthy, you want to tell us, as it relates to the shares that you're holding in Meditech, who own those shares? So that is showing us that you're a dishonest person. You sat there, even when the law amended as it relates to if you are holding shares, you have to display, right, as it relates to the persons who you are holding the shares for, and you did not. You have not done that. What that is telling me that you're a dishonest person. You're a dishonest person. So again, it is also telling me that what Rosie, as it relates to the allegation, it needs to be investigated. And if proven to be true, you are to be prosecuted. So you are not going to hide behind you pursuing a lawsuit and try to trick the public. Now we know who you are based on the amount of shares that you hold in Meditech, right? And you refrain from identifying who those shares belong to. It is telling me that, of course, you're a part and parcel, right, of the corruption. You yourself, indeed, is corruption, and that you're definitely guilty of that. So here is another picture being painted. Is another picture being painted, right, by Hamilton, Councillor Hamilton, Rosie Hamilton, right, who knows you the best, right? Now, including calls for his investigation as a result of the allegation. No wonder why. See, look here, people. Honestly, I am talking, but I did not read through all the document, right? I just read the subtopic and realize that, you understand, this is what he's doing. But as I was saying before, that he's trying to disguise from investigation. Here it is. Now, people, look at this. Here it is, right? Observer Online described the remarks by Hamilton as baseless and untrue, while claiming that Williams has become the subject of public discourse. No, including calls for his investigation as a result of the allegation. So really and truly, this is what he's trying to prevent. So Jamaica, since that is now borne out, that is now trying to prevent investigation, we are again asking the relevant authorities based on the allegation, right? The allegation is crippling, right? It is extremely serious, and I'm not going to say defamatory. Not going to say that, because I would have to have the facts that Rosie, right, is lying, right? And so then let us just leave it as allegation, right? Investigation needs to be done. Investigation needs to be done. Now, the MP added that the statement have caused significant harm to his reputation, affecting his integrity and credibility. Look here, your integrity and credibility has been affected from before you and Rosie in this situation, right? You are the secretary for the Prime Minister Estate Bridge, right? And you are directors in some of the Prime Minister shell companies that currently are under investigation, and we are those three companies, right? Imperium Estate Bridge and another company, right? As it relates to the Integrity Commission investigators, have Andrew Onus, right? Laundering, because me knows some money laundering that, you know. Right? So I don't want to say, oh, Mystic Sensation, be careful. That is money laundering. That is money laundering. Here, why it is money laundering? $470 million through NCB, utilizing various accounts. Right? Why it is money laundering, people? During the very same window, the same window between 2020 to 2022, while you were telling lies, while the Prime Minister, right, had given false information to the Integrity Commission, that is income, assets, and liability for 2022, total $200 million. But when we look on the investigation, as it relates to $470 million running through NCB, right? That's clear thing. You have lied. And FID would have that. So you see the reason that, of course, Andrew Onus' statutory declaration under no circumstances can be certified. And remember now, Donovan, you, right, your secretary in Estate Bridge, you were a director, right, in Positive Foundation, in Jamaica, Positive, whatever, right? And of course, Imperium. So look at that. You're also in Imperium. So this is telling me that everything that Rosie, right, accused you of needs to be investigated. Needs to be investigated. Noting the lack of an apology, what he described as a personal grievance on the part of Hamilton, the wide-reaching nature of the voice notes, the resulting reputational damage, among other factors. Williams is seeking aggravated damages, general damages, exemplary damages, injunctive relief, interest, cost and attorney's cost, and other relief the court deem. Well, and now you make Rosie blood a boil. With all of these things that you are claiming, strategy I use for Rosie, you want Rosie to back off. Are you not serious about this? You know the reason why you're not serious about this? Because guess what? So when you reach in court, remember, I know, this case is a lawsuit. And we know you as a lawyer know, say, when it comes to a lawsuit, civil matter, the evidence to prove a civil matter the burden of proof is lighter than what to prove a felony criminal offense. You don't have to use the burden, right, beyond a reasonable doubt as it relates to the burden of proof. You know that, Donovan, and I know that you don't, and I am informing Rosie. Say, Rosie, stand up tonight. Because let me tell you something, Rosie. I am talking to you now, Rosie. It doesn't require the sort of burden of proof that you have to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt, Rosie. No. The burden of proof, Rosie, is lesser. Right? It is the ponderance of guilt. And which simply means that you only want to, right, show certain evidence, right, and where definitely those evidence can be considered, right? So it's like a 50-50 thing, Rosie. So don't scare off him, Rosie, right? All of this now, you only make Rosie blood a boil. Hear what you no, this is a sort of strategy, you know. Let us use this to see if we can scare her. No, Rosie, let me tell you something. Stand up tonight. Right? Noting the lack of an apology. See, hold on. Rosie. Watch the reverse psychology in a Rosie. Right? If you come at Mystic Sensation is one of the top strategists, you know. It's one of the top political strategists, and I can tell you what I go on yourself. You notice the first thing I put out yourself? Rosie. Noting the lack of an apology. Rosie, he wants you to apologize and stop. I'm not interested for push it further. Because guess what? The evidence that you have and you push it, right, into a civil case, right, you're going to turn him over. Yes, you're going to be turning him over. And it is going to boil down where he's going to be prosecuted and charged. So, Rosie, don't ease up. Mystic Sensation attack to you. Here it is. What he described as a personal grievance on the part of Hamilton, the wide-reaching nature of the voice notes, the resulting reputational damage. What kind of reputational damage? Let me ask you a question, Donovan Williams. You know, link with gunman. You and gunman no friend. You don't ask your gunman friend them. Ask you a question. Did you ask your gunman friends to go and burn down the people in place? To change the electoral demographic that could bring about the decision of a People's National Party win? And so then you leech fear and havoc on the people? Let me ask you a question, Donovan. You know, have your gunman friend there? As according to what Rosie said. Did your gunman friends went to burn down people home? Right? Let me just take Sister Winnie call because I'm alone there today to drive. So I can't multitask and Sister Winnie knows I'm bad then we're there. Sister Winnie, go ahead, Sister Winnie.
Good afternoon, my son. How are you?
Blessing, my sister.
How's the wife and Mr. Melting Pot?
Wife you upstairs.
Listen to me. I believe her.
Yes.
100%.
Of course.
I know her life is in danger now.
Yes.
I believe the Prime Minister should come down or come out and make a statement. Did he talk to Rosie? Yes or no?
Exactly.
His wife should do the same. And what's her name? Miss Babsy?
Babsy Grange.
Come out and do the same. So, well, she should come out and do the same. Because they went to tell her to do these certain things. And she's not agreeing with it.
Exactly.
Right? And this man now went and started chatting her that she, I'm telling you, well, I don't honestly say, I say she got to clear herself. If he sue her, well, she can sue him too. That's what I hear, that she can't sue.
Yeah, man, a sue, Sister Winnie. Me have the case, man. Me have everything phone, Sister Winnie. Me have everything phone.
You have it. You locked onto it. And next thing as well too, this one they call, she was an athlete. They call her the bicycle lady.
Oh.
She said no one could come to her for nothing because she buy her vote. If she buy her vote, she should be locked up.
Of course.
That's against the law in any country to buy a vote.
Of course. And you're right. You see how they, Sister Winnie, you see how they are stupid. They are not thinking what they are saying and putting the public ear, you know. Because listen, that's a criminal offense, you know.
Don't forget there is one city to give them box food and everything and drink.
Yes, that is Oceanston.
So all I'm saying, if she says she paid for her vote, she don't have to do nothing for nobody. Well, she shouldn't be in parliament.
And she should be charged.
So that is real money she spend out. Where she get all that money from? Because apparently she's building a big house. So where she get all that money from?
Yes.
Is it Cuthbert? She named Cuthbert. If you buy your vote, my darling, thank God you can't say you. I don't know if you give it to any PNP, but whether you give it or not, you should be locked up because you break the law. Don't you know why they break the law? Because the JLP is supposed to be a bad man people them. You see? So nobody, not even the judge can touch them. The police can't even touch them.
Yes.
Can't do nothing to them. They do as they like. Look at balls. Well, should get arrested.
Oh yes.
Prime Minister Holiness.
Yes.
Holiness or Holiness. I can't pronounce the name right.
He's to be arrested too.
Sir.
Don't forget to say it, Sister Winnie. He's to be arrested too.
Yes, you got to come out and make a statement. Sir, you need to do that to the public of Jamaica. I know you don't respect the people, but for just to say you do, come out and don't bother use no Bible because the Bible will burn up in your hand.
Sister Winnie.
You did talk to Rosie, but now this building person who want to get to build, no one should build here because I don't care if you come from Timbuktu, you are connected to the oldness. Are you going to build? No. This allegedly burned down people place. You know, you could have killed a lot of people.
Very serious.
And you gone down there like to sympathizing with the people, knowing damn well what's happened. Mighty God of Daniel. Thank God. Thank God. I know you want New. I hear they went after one of my family place in Newland, you know, sometimes ago. Yes, in Newland.
Oh, okay.
It is his land. His land, my foot. Where come from to get land? Huh? You better don't even go there.
Exactly.
Understand? You know Newland, where they reclaim the land. Right. Come and say the land belong to him. This land belong to you. You're mad. I hear you, Mr. Mistake.
Yes, sister.
There is more to come, you know, sir.
Oh, Jesus. A lot more.
More to come.
A lot more. That's why I said Sister Winnie.
Over here.
I said Sister Winnie.
More to come.
I said Sister Winnie.
You burned out people's houses to get land. Lord Jesus Christ. Whoa. Hey, listen. Take care. Yeah,
love your Sister Winnie.
I hope she gets some protection.
Exactly.
I hope she gets some protection. Okay, thank you.
Blessings. All right. Now, let me tell you something, Donovan Williams, because I am reading through this situation and I realize that you are scared. Right? Now, look at this, people. In his affidavit, Williams reiterated his appeal for an injunction from the court to restrain Hamilton and prevent further damage to his reputation. Hey, then hold on there. Why you want injunction to stop her? If you are not guilty, no, the way how you are behaving now is telling me that you are guilty, you know. That you want the court, you understand, to now provide an injunction to stop her from proceed. This is what you want to do. You know, see, it sound like Andrew Honest, right? Applying to the court, wanting the court to kick out the Illicit Enrichment Act as it relates to the Corruption Act. See, at that you want to do, eh? No, man. Listen. Let me tell you something. Sister Rose, not afraid of you, you know. All of this that you are doing here, you only make Sister Rose blood a boil, you know. Because Sister Rose knows say, you know, have nothing pan her, you know. And she knows that she have everything on you. So listen, a boil, you make Sister Rose blood a boil right about now. Me can't tell you that. Because all of this, yes, sir, you seek injunction to stop her from pursuing. No, that listen me. Listen me. If I am innocent, right? And she claims say I done something and I am going to sue her. Right? Me waste my time on the talk about injunction, stop her and blah, blah, blah. Me not do that. Make she come in at the court, come prove it. Make she come in at the court and prove it. And then if she can't prove it, then bang around. But here so now, you have put up injunction. It has shown me say you're guilty. This is telling the public that you are guilty in terms of what she accused you of. Right? Now, look at that. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Mr. Williams. All of this that you have done, and this is how stupid you are. You're really a stupid person, you know. Right? Arrogance killing you, man. Arrogance is killing you. Let me tell you why arrogance is killing you. Because you just show your hand to the entire world that you are definitely guilty in terms of her accusation. Right? Wanting now to use injunction. We let her go. We let her go, because if I am innocent, I am not going to utilize that route. But you know Donovan. And I know that, guess what? When it comes to civil action, the burden of proof is the preponderance, right, of guilt. Right? And that is very easy to prove, right, into a civil case. Our lawyers in the chat, if any lawyers in the chat, they know what I'm talking about. So you know that, guess what? You're liable, right, that Rosie is going to kick your way in the civil court, right? You are going to be investigated, and all of what you are doing is telling Mystic Sensation, is telling me that you are trying to avoid the investigation. Commissioner of Police, you know better, I know. The DPP, you know better, I know. At this point in time, an investigation should have launched. And you know, let me remind you, you have launched the DPP, initiate a case against Senior Superintendent Cameron, right? And the Commissioner of Police, you understand, push forward. So what happened to this now? What is going on here? Are you just showing, no, but you and the DPP just show Jamaica say, real and truly, yes, all right, on the phone, we guilty now. Yes, it is proved now that we are politically biased. Eh? But let me show you something. Because Rosie, they tell you, say, all what you have done, her blood a boil, and she not afraid of you. Right? I'm going to show you. Right? Let me tell you something. Me I put it on the turntable right now. Say Rosie not afraid of you. Let me sing off something on the turntable for show you, say, Rosie, no fear you. Rosie no fear you one bit. So I want you listen to this, you know, Donovan, before I make Rosie come down, you know. Listen to this, Donovan. Because I show you, say Rosie no afraid of you. Listen to this. I don't know what's it. Laura, what Rosie has said to you, so you can't bother up, Nobody believes it. You can't bother up Sister Rosie, Because Rosie, I tell you, say, no boy can't bother up, Because she no ratty. More you listen to the song, No boy can't bother up. Because she no ratty. Simple mean, she no thiefy like you. Rosie call her thief, And for you is a rat, for you is a puss, you can't bother up. Right? And Rosie has said, she had turn up and defend it. And she's going to embarrass you, remember, Donovan, let me talk to you. Rosie, plead to you, and all of us witness it in a social media. Rosie, you can't blame Rosie, Let me tell you something. You can't blame Rosie. Rosie said, Donovan, top, call up my name. Donovan, me no want to embarrass you. Let me tell you what Rosie said now. Donovan, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to disgrace you. Jamaica people, you hear how often Rosie warning Donovan. As a matter of fact, Rosie even get more serious, Rosie said, listen to me. If you don't continue to perplex me, and Donovan alone is going to get my wrath, Both Donovan and the entire JLP is going to get my wrath, So now, when you roll out that now, I really know, you really get Rosie blood boiling. And since Rosie blood are boil, see Rosie answer you, Let me show you what Rosie said. Because Rosie never play now. What you think? You think Rosie scared? You come out and you try to intimidate Rosie. Rosie go back off. Rosie no back off. Rosie double down. Let me show you Donovan if you don't see it. So Rosie double down. Look on this, Donovan. You look on this. You look on this. Let me bring it up for you so you can read it. Rosie, I tell her, say, send it on. Anytime you're ready, me ready. Councillor Hamilton serves cease and desist to MP Williams. Threaten further action. Now, Sister Rosie, what may I tell you say? May I tell you say for press gas? Press gas, mama. Press gas. Because them can't do anything in a Rosie. Let me tell you something. The entire world is witnessing this situation between you, right, and so-called thieving Donovan based on allegation. We have to put it in perspective, because what? Context matters. Big up yourself, voice up, Buchanan. Yes, Rosie. Context matters. So then, what we want you to do, press gas. And the reason you're going to press gas, because you hear him talk about him, going to threaten you for this, him going to sue you for this, him going to sue you for that, and blah, blah, blah. And also in the process, I call you liar. Me know you're going to deal with him. Now, Kingston, Jamaica, Raytown Councillor Rosie Hamilton has issued a cease and desist to Kingston Central Member of Parliament MP Donovan Williams as the public spat fueled by a series of leaked voice notes escalate. So Rosie, him not listening. And you see what I'm going to do there? I mean, no, your blood a boil. Now, the cease and desist obtained by Observer Online was dated Thursday, March 26, and alleges that Williams has engaged in repeated and unwelcome contact, which has caused Hamilton to fear for her safety. I want to go on so. Hold on there. Wait the people. Hold on, we can read back that over. Yes. You know what? Let us read that over. The cease and desist obtained by Observer Online was dated Thursday, March 26, and alleged that Williams has engaged in repeated and unwelcoming contact, which has caused Hamilton to fear for her safety. So then, hold on now. You intimidate the lady. You intimidate the lady's space. Any location where the lady used to be. And that's now what you do? I search. Hold on. I walk and look for you. I search and look for you. Or you search and try to find her, to beg it down. I want to understand where you're at, you know. I want to understand your mind space. Are you looking for her to have a rational conversation, right? To say that, okay, Sister Rosie, I am sorry. Don't proceed, right? And don't embarrass me anymore, right? I hope the conversation, hold on. The walk and a search for you. I hope that you want to do now. Because if intimidating tactics you use, you can't do Rosie nothing, you know. Let me tell you something. The entire Jamaica are watching, you know. Social media they watch. Mainstream media they watch. The entire world they watching, you know. Let me take a call here. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Please go ahead.
Yes, Mystic.
Blessings, my brother.
Rosie Hamilton is a witness of fact. She's not a normal person because she would have been there in all the transactions that they would have done.
Hey, hold on there. Hold up, my friend, there, because you can't say the right things and just want to run off so fast. What you just say is 100% facts. I want you to repeat that, what you just said again.
Yes, Rosie Hamilton is a witness of fact. She's not questioning any information. She's providing it accurately because she was there in the mix of everything.
Talk about things then, my brother.
Right? Donovan Williams is going to get himself in more problems because he is contacting Rosalie frequently. Right? Those kind of frantic phone calls going to land him in more problems, just like Noel Maitland and the truck driver who moved the coach. You're
100% right, my boss.
Right? Because had Maitland kept quietly, you know, the driver wouldn't have recorded him.
Here you go.
And I'm happy with the response of Rosalie's lawyer, because she's saying that Rosalie, as a public servant, has to abide by public accountability, and those issues she was exposing are within her reach.
Exactly.
So there is nothing for her to worry about.
And what you said, 110% you are correct. Because remember, again, Rosie is the person where money funnel through and go to him as well. Back and forth, right? Back and forth. Vice versa, right? And so then all of that observation, right, would have been, you know, at some point whether they can be translated into documentary proof that would make it even strong and even worse for Donovan Williams in terms of documentary proof, which I presume that Rosie would have gotten. Yes, go ahead, Carla.
But Donovan Williams is a stupid guy, you know. He
stupid.
Says that the thing has reached so far and still making frantic calls to Rosalie. Don't he realize that he's going to get himself in more problems?
And that is one of the reasons why when I started, I said, you know, based on what I saw, I said, this man closed himself with arrogance. Because if I was in his shoes, right? Yes. If I am to, empathize with the situation and put myself in his shoes. Under no circumstances, I would be threatening Rosie with lawsuit. You understand? I would have to speak to Rosie off the air and try to make amends with Rosie, but obviously he's arrogant.
Rosalie has a lot of powers in her hands right now because
Oh, yes.
she should also make a complaint to the General Legal Counsel to disbar Donovan Williams from practicing law. This is a man who is very dangerous. You can't have this man handling client funds.
I agree with you.
And doing real estate transfers and so on.
I agreed with you.
This man is definitely a dangerous person to the legal profession.
But you know, Carla, wouldn't it prudent for Rosie as it relates to all the evidence that Rosie has? And let me say this in terms of protection for Rosie. What Rosie should have done now, all right, or should be doing, is to make sure that all evidence that she has handed over to her lawyer and file a complaint, you understand, to MOCA or some police establishment, you understand, to have him investigated or have him charged. What Rosie, and let me, while I'm talking to you, I am also talking to Rosie and give Rosie, you understand, 100% true advice.
But a lot of, let me tell you why I said Rosalie's evidence is strong. Most of the individuals who conspired to defraud the government, Donovan Williams being the head,
yes,
Rosie Hamilton knows all of them.
Well,
so she knows them within the constituency, but the level of fraud that Donovan Williams is perpetrating, including the $31 million drill and all other things surrounding those transactions, he has persons in higher places who he is conspiring with to do other form of illegal activities. Rosie Hamilton is only confined within the constituency of Central Kingston. So can you imagine what Donovan Williams is doing at a national level?
Perfect, information there, right? And that is very much plausible.
She will never apologize.
No, this situation.
You can't be apologizing, to tell you the truth.
But remember, Carla, I said yesterday that this situation is not going to stop, And this, what we are showing here, make matters worse. Because I tell you something, this is going to be extremely bad for the Jamaica Labour Party in terms of, right, Rosie capacity to bring down the Jamaica Labour Party now in terms of the information that she has. Because one of the information that is most powerful, which is extremely serious to both Donovan and the Jamaica Labour Party, is the burning down of homes, of people homes, to change, you understand, an electorate.
People, those houses that were burnt down, people were living in them, so they had to escape fire, and all their personal belongings would have been destroyed, and their lives would have been destabilized. Arson is one of the more serious offenses in Jamaica.
That is extremely serious.
It's a felony.
It's extremely serious.
Yes.
And for a politician,
A lot of us were questioning why there were so many fires within the Central Kingston constituency, because they were happening so quickly. And this guy, Donovan Williams, brought the Prime Minister to one of the fire scenes
that he possibly instigated.
To remedy the people's lives.
Hold on, Carla. Let us context matters here. He brought the Prime Minister to one of the fire scenes where it is a possibility now that he could be one of those based on allegation that instigated. So that make it extremely serious, Everything that is playing out in social media. Donovan as a lawyer, I am wondering how prudent a lawyer he is, because everything that he's doing now is just extremely ludicrous. I don't think he's thinking. I think based on the allegation, he might be nervous. He might be looking at his career going into the abyss, and not only his career going into the abyss, Carla, you're talking about imprisonment. What say you on the matter, caller?
Well, he should never occupy public office again.
Huh.
And the police should institute criminal investigations, and the DPP proffer charges within the courts. These kind of crimes cannot go unpunished.
All right. So let you and I hope Rosie listening. What Rosie should have done now, right? Report the case to the DPP's office. Rosie, listen to me. Write the DPP on notice. Because you can go to the DPP's office, right, and report the case directly. And so then the DPP now would have advised whosoever needs to be advised to investigate this case. So Rosie, if you are listening to me, take my foolish advice, right? You proceed with your lawyer. Proceed to one of the office of the DPP, right? And let she advise you what to do. Why am I telling you this, Rosie? For you to have a record, for you to have an evidence that you have approached the DPP with this matter, right? And let the DPP guide you as it relates to what needs to be done. This, Rosie, is what we call a high-profile case against, right, a member of parliament, one that is very close to the prime minister.
Those fraudulent claims that were made at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, where Donovan Williams is a state minister, should be investigated thoroughly. Yes.
Right then and there, right, the Commissioner of Police, right, and the Superintendent of Police that is in charge or responsible for that area, right, where Central Kingston, as it relates to the constituency that Councillor Hamilton, right, responsible for. The Senior Superintendent of Police, right, Rosie should also go and lodge a complaint. But lodge a complaint, you understand, to so many of the entities. That means that them can't go around it, you know. Them cannot go around it. Rosie, I'm telling you what to do. And at the same time, you understand, seek guidance from your law. Well, I know Rosie not stupid. Rosie not stupid because, see, Rosie, you understand, start to deal with this already. Is to show you that Rosie on the very same move that I am telling Rosie to do. Yes, Carla.
You know, when I heard Rosie Hamilton said that she had to use her credit card to purchase 5 tickets to come back to Jamaica to help Donovan Williams to win the election, I was saying that was a very stupid move. Because if Donovan Williams was making all that money and she went to make some money overseas and then Donovan encouraged her to come back to Jamaica, then Donovan should have paid the plane fares, you know?
Of course.
She used her credit card to purchase them. So that was a very stupid move.
Yes, you know.
Donovan Williams is in the circle of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
They're making a lot of money together.
Yes. Right? That was I would say I would do agree with you that was stupid on her path. You know, running those expenses, right? By herself.
How does Donovan Williams walk and look into people's faces right now, being a public servant and an attorney at law? I mean, it is in his interest to resign.
No,
because I can't see how a guy like that can face the public realm.
No, let me
accusation and these facts, because it's not a normal person from the outside making these statements.
Carla, you have to remember.
It's very compelling when Rosalie says these things.
Yes, but Carla,
she's there with them.
But Carla, you have to remember that Donovan Williams will not feel that, okay, all right, he has a need to worry because of his boss. Remember, say Andrew Holness and boss, you know.
Andrew Holness.
And remember that Andrew Holness not have no shame, you know. Andrew Holness, like when them all mix up in them thing there, you know, that means him can't look bad, you know, because all of them are do it, and them have to protect them one another as it relates to the status quo of corruption. So he's all right.
Xavier Main is also doing the same thing.
Exactly.
A lawsuit against the Integrity Commission to stop him from being prosecuted for all the illegal monies he has obtained and never put it on his declaration.
So you see, it is the tendency. It becomes a norm. It becomes a culture. You understand, as it relates to the behavior, right? That are the behavioral pattern of MPs, knowing that their boss, you understand, has been doing the very same thing. Their boss has been dodging tax. Their boss, right, involved in money laundering. Their boss involved in cash plus, Olent, right, SSL. Why do you think they are going to be ashamed? Tell me.
And you notice you don't hear anything more about the SSL matter since those flimsy charges were proffered on Newcross. Nothing more. So the strategy has worked.
Well, I wouldn't say the strategy is at work. Sometimes the court.
Certainly the public not discussing it anymore.
All right, hold on. Sometimes the court.
Very sad.
No, sometimes the court overburdened with case files. So it all depends on, you know, how long it has been put off. But that can't just it can't just go into the court and just disappear like that.
Put it to the circuit court, you know.
Yeah. It can't just go into the court and just disappear like that. So we are going to hear something.
No, but the public should continue to apply public pressure.
Of course, agree with you.
And talk about the matter, because if you leave these matters in the hands of the prosecution alone, these cases will not go through.
Yeah, man.
So when public pressure is being applied, then the standard is higher.
Yes.
The DPP will be held accountable for any future outcome.
All right. I mean, the DPP ourselves not really have no form of how should I put it? Right. These people, when it comes to civic pride and you understand and holding up the office, right? You don't get it from these people who in bed with Andrew Holness, right? Andrew Holness is someone who don't really protect the office of the Prime Minister, right? Because you cannot be protecting the office of the Prime Minister and involving in all of these things. We should the Prime Minister have been into Ponzi scheme that they know that it is Ponzi scheme. It is not a one-time situation where you said, okay, all right, the Prime Minister made a mistake. You understand? The Prime Minister did not know that, you understand, it was a Ponzi scheme. Right? The Prime Minister went into Olent. Right? Investors lost their money and him benefited. The Prime Minister did not stop there. The Prime Minister also going to cash plus. Right, where the Prime Minister benefited, investors lost their money. The Prime Minister did not stop there. The Prime Minister went into SSL. So then that can tell you, as it relates to the pattern of behavior, right, that the Prime Minister involved in criminal activities. So for persons, in terms of the question that, in terms of, you know, what you are saying, that, okay, how Donovan Williams can walk and might be look into people's eye. You understand? If him don't have any shame, if him don't have any pride, they don't have any shame and pride. I tell you, I'm not asking you.
Ministry of Labor and Social Security is one of the biggest government ministries, you know.
Yeah.
And this guy would be walking into the office and seeing all these staff members who would be frowning upon him.
But I
would say to the PNP that they need to extend their statement of accountability and add resignation.
Yes.
He must resign from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, because that pattern of fraud that he has perpetrated upon his constituency, and I'm sure on the general public, because these guys use their constituency as an incubator, but they would have expanded their criminal empire on a national level.
There you go. And you have that 100% correct. I like how you coined that, right? Which is 100% true.
I am saying that Donovan Williams should resign his position. This guy is so heartless. It's Social Security. That's a ministry that deals with old and indigent people, you know.
All right. Let me say this.
He doesn't have a heart for that ministry. He doesn't have any compassion.
Exactly. But let me say this to you. Remember, right, as it relates to the Prime Minister is not a Mark Golding. So bear that in mind, Carla. The Prime Minister is not a Mark Golding. Under Mark Golding leadership, if Donovan Williams did place under Mark Golding leadership, right now, he would have to resign. Mark Golding would not go any inch further as it relates to these allegations. Mark Golding would have sit down with him, right, and have a conversation with him as it relates to his resignation. And I ask you that, you know, and I tell you. Let me give you an example. If you remember, as it relates to Dennis Meadows.
Who just made a statement, and Dennis Meadows wasn't in government. He wasn't even a member of parliament.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so Carla, do you have it as it relates to Dennis Meadows? Dennis Meadows wasn't a member. Wasn't a sitting member of parliament. He wasn't. Right? He was a caretaker. He was a caretaker at the time, right? And made a silly statement as it relates to what he communicated in the year there, right? In terms of supporting of legitimizing scamming. That is right. As it relates to his statement, appears to be legitimizing scamming. Let us say that.
And there was no evidence that Dennis Meadows participated in any scamming. He was just saying, youths, even though you made your money illegally, make use of it. Take care of your family. That's what he said.
And look.
And Mark Golding asked him to resign as caretaker.
What Mark Golding, exactly. So then...
Donovan is definitely partaking in these criminal matters. Andrew Holness cannot rein him in because guess what? According to Rosie Hamilton's statements, Andrew Holness himself is a co-conspirator of Donovan Williams because they have been constantly asking her favors within the constituency, and it can't be something good. It must be something against the public's interest.
Well, there you go, Carla. So then, one can expect, right? As a matter of fact, me know you, right, as a comrade, right? Myself as a comrade, and all the people, right, who are listening to us, who are comrades and manlyites. Myself, who is a manlyites, right? We don't expect no form of discipline, you understand, to be undone by Andrew Holness. No, none of us expect that. Me know you don't expect that, Carla. Come on.
But the pressure of the people is very important.
Yes.
In terms of a decision being made against Donovan Williams. So
yes. So
if this guy doesn't retire right now, he would be shameless like the Prime Minister.
Well, come on. As I said, they have no shame. And remember, although they are mammals as it relates to being warm-blooded, but these people who we are talking about, really and truly, they are reptiles in terms of their behavior. They have no love and care. Remember now that the Jamaica Labour Party, as it relates to the Eventide home, right? Burning down Eventide homes and killing over 150 elderly people. Come on, Carla. You and I know the history with them people, yeah. You understand me? I say? So what they are doing and what Rosie is calling out, and that is one of the reasons why I would suggest to Rosie, Carla, that Rosie need to seek some witness protection, because this case is going to get even more serious. You know, yesterday, just imagine, I came out yesterday and I said to John Public that, look, this case is not going to leave social media anytime soon. And here we are discussing the first two items that is showing you the momentum that is building up. Because Donovan, who has been clothed with arrogance from head to toe, covered with arrogance and pride, right? That is what is going to hurt him. He knows very well that, look, if you go into a civil court like this, and that is one of the reasons I'm speaking it out. You understand? It is not like Rosie, right? As it relates to the burden of proof, right? under a civil court. The burden of proof is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
It's balance of probability in
It's-
civil matters.
Exactly. It is the preponderance of guilt. The preponderance of guilt.
Yes.
And so then,
But let me tell you something. That lawsuit will gather dust, so to speak, because Donovan Williams will not want Rosie Hamilton to come and speak truthfully to the court.
so we know.
She has a lot more information
Mm-hmm.
that can be divulged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And other persons will be implicated while she's explaining the facts.
You're a prudent man. That's all I am saying to you. You're a prudent man.
So I can tell you it's just formality, Donovan Williams filing this lawsuit. It
Yes.
has no merit in law, and it cannot prevent Rosie Hamilton from discharging her duty as a public servant
Exactly.
who has to be accountable to the people.
Exactly.
The things that have been happening in central Kingston is antithetical against the residents. And she made it clear that the constituency becomes much poorer under Donovan Williams. And
Yes.
it was already poor. So you can just imagine the state now. The last time I passed down there, it was pure dilapidated buildings, unemployed people, children running up and down in pampas without any shirt.
But you know what I'm not seeing, Carla?
Desperate poverty, the cesspools down there, the stench coming from the gutters.
You know what? You
And
know.
this guy, and Donovan Williams has captured a prime commercial property on East Queen Street and turned it into his personal office, his constituency office.
Wow.
How did he get that office?
Wow. Remember, say that easy, you know, in terms of the linkage. Remember, see, you're talking about a systemic, right, corruption, you know. Remember that we are looking at a kleptocratic government, right? Banana republic. So we are not, when it comes to true democratic, right, system, that is not what we have. That is not what we have, you know. Right?
And Darrell Vaz thinks he can just resign now and walk away with billions of dollars and
No.
use properties like SSL's office building.
That not going to happen, you know, and we are on social media. Let me tell you something.
This guy, all the money laundering he went on with, all the illegal funds he has gathered, the government should take it back under the Proceeds of Crimes Act.
Hey, let me tell you something, Carla. Here's the reason why we know that Darrell Vaz can't just walk, so you know. Remember, as it relates to persons who are now in social media, right? And these platforms are some very serious platforms that are going to hold people accountable. When you look on, right, a reggae dub scene, when you look on a Partner Draw TV, a Mystic Sensation, right, a Anessa Bell Rose, right, a Atta for the Press, right, a London 45, and right, and so many more, Antigen, right, all of those people, right, Mama Nancy, right. Well, now look, social media, right, full of vitality when it comes to people who deal with checks and balance and will hold the government accountable. Why you think the Prime Minister, right, keep on talking about that we are fighting for the minds and soul? If the Prime Minister did not recognize us as a real force to reckon with, you know, he won't worry himself, you know. And when you see the Prime Minister try to close us down on social media, how many lawsuits been sent to Partner Draw TV? How many lawsuits?
It's just a formality.
But it is the same thing.
What is happening in the country?
It is the same thing that is happening here as it relates to Donovan, right? When you see, right, as it relates to people speaking out, right? And the Prime Minister doubled down with lies, misinformation, and disinformation, and he tried to change the narrative to tell the people not to listen to us. But what makes the difference, because when we speak from an observer, right? We speak from a star, right? We speak from a JIS information service, right? We speak from a gleaner, right? So the people who are listening to us, and that is why you find it that mainstream media are losing, right, their viewership, right? And they are damaging themselves. Because guess what? When we speak, right, we present the source. And we are not censored. Remember, social media is not censored to say that, all right, someone is going to write our script, right? As I said, Adre Brian can just get up and say, well, all right, listen, I am speaking on this subject, and this subject, you understand? And conveniently, we execute that. Any subject that you want to speak on. You understand? So we don't have to follow a particular guideline. Yes, my brother.
With the kinds of public funds that Darrell Vaz has stolen, by now he should be number 4 within the 21 rich families in Jamaica. Because this guy went on a financial rampage and he had the freedom to do so.
Yes, true.
This guy will go down in the history of a serial government operative who embezzle public funds.
And you know what, Burn McCullough? Let me ask you a personal question. What do you think about the DPP in all of this in terms of the continuation of the corruption, right, by these members of parliament? What do you think about the DPP? Tell me your honest truth.
It shows that the DPP is not truly independent, because if the DPP was independent, then she would have done her job in a manner that would protect public funds and protect public accountability.
Perfect.
Which is necessary to preserve the wealth of the country.
Perfect, sir.
To keep the country a viable state, the authorities should prosecute these people and stop the pilfering of public funds. That is why we can't move forward as a nation. Our country is extremely poor. The 700 million plus that the cabinet costs for salaries each year. Jamaica is not even producing those monies. They are using grants and borrowed funds to pay those salaries. So we are further declining into poverty and depravity.
You're perfectly right, sir.
The country is broke. That's why you see the starvation going on right now. People are hungry.
And I do agree with you.
And I like when Rosalie came out and said, listen, man, I can't do those things that you're asking me to do because I have to think about the interests of the poor people. And she grew up in Central Kingston. She knows the struggles of the people. But she knows that children are going to bed without food. She knows that children do not have shoes on their feet sometimes.
But you know, Carla, in terms of what you just said, in terms of the approach relating to the Prime Minister, the Juliet Owens, and Babsy Grange, right? Specifically, in terms of the conversation that they had with her, I don't know the conversation, but it want to seem that they were asking Rosie to do something that is totally unethical. And to the fact that she rejected, it goes to show you that the Prime Minister involved in that sort of discourse and his wife and Babsy Grange, it goes to the heart that they are heartless people, right? And if it is a situation that, okay, all right, they want a particular area, right, but not able to, transform people's life. So then if persons are in a particular area and you want it for commercial use or whatever, and you said, okay, all right, I'm going to take these people, I am going to provide a scheme home for them. You understand? As it relates to this.
No alternative was provided.
No alternative, sir.
And a lot of those buildings that were burnt, Mystic, were commercial properties used as residential properties. They call them tenement yard.
Yes.
So they are of commercial value. because people do not have monies to pay rent or pay mortgage or to construct homes, they live in those abandoned buildings that were once used when Kingston was a wealthy city, even on the waterfront, when ships used to come in and commerce was high.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So those are some of the buildings now. Donovan Williams is burning out people to secure those buildings for their personal enrichment. Mighty goodness.
Mighty goodness. So there's no...
Let me tell you something, man. Donovan Williams is playing with fire. Even though Rosie Hamilton accusing him of starting fire.
But hold on the caller.
He's also playing with fire because Delroy Williams' brother will be further exposed in this bitter relationship.
But hold on the back up caller, because me your reason. I love all your reason. You notice how long we keep up on a program. If it never makes sense, you know, but I try to cut you off. But you're making sense to me. So let me hear a reason, caller. Watch this now. As it relates to them people who got burnout, right? To show you that this government have no form of innovation to uplift people's life. Let me hear a reason now, caller. The Prime Minister administration been taking $11.4 billion from the NHT fund. Right? Between 2016 and as we speak, over $100 billion being taken from NHT fund. You're going to tell me that, okay, all right. If you want a particular area like the Central Kingston area and you want to commercialize it or whatever, right? You want to bring in entrepreneur, right? And deal with true sense of innovation to create employment and so forth. Then why not use the NHT fund or use NHT, as I said, to build low-income homes, executing the NHT mandate as it relates to what the NHT mandate was. The NHT mandate, right, is to build homes for low-income contributors. But they cripple the fund, and at the same time, right, they are participating, as it relates to the allegation, burning down the people homes, shelter, and people are scattered all over the place. And then, if the situation that you are burning down homes to change a political paradigm or to change a political philosophy or whatever it is, right, to shift a voting block for people to understand, right? That was your purpose now, to burn these people out, to shift a particular voting block. No, this is extremely serious. This is a serious felony. And I am saying that based on what we are looking at, Rosie not just have him by the shirt, you know. Rosie not just have him by the shirt, you know. Let me tell Donovan. Rosie have him by the balls, you know. And the only thing that Rosie need to do is to squeeze, you know. And then you know, see them tentacles, they're not good again in the box.
Donovan will never want a day in court whereby disclosures are made.
You and I know that.
Is further informed of the infractions, the criminality that has been going on in Central Kingston.
You and I know that.
I want the public to hear that.
And
it's just a formality. A matter of fact, it's pre-action letter sound more like a legal template, you know, like a form that
yes.
you wrote it on.
Yes.
Rosie Hamilton, her pre-action letter is solid.
Is well coined.
Read both of them.
Yes, man. No, show me your reason, because I am on Rosie sees and this is, you know, I am on it. But show me your reason. You understand? Me just partially stop it at the first paragraph.
When I read the language and the writing of Rita Brown,
yes,
Rosalie's lawyer, she is very good.
Yeah, man. She not play, man.
She is detail oriented.
Yes.
And she's pointed. And she is literally saying to Donovan that, listen, if you persist, we will either report those threats to the Jamaica Constabulary Force or seek an injunction against your client in other things. But guess what? All of this should lead to the removal of Donovan Williams. he is in an untenable situation where that he cannot be trusted
Oh,
to
look,
handle
look,
public
look.
funds. The Ministry of Labor and National Security, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. They handle vast amount of resources, you know.
Yes, of course. Yes.
This man cannot be in that position.
All right, let me say this categorically clear to you, caller. I am not looking for any discipline to be done by the JLP administration. Because number one, right, they will be hypocritical. If they try to discipline Donovan, right, then, I mean, you'd have to look back in terms of what the Prime Minister had done, right? And then the Prime Minister cannot discipline Donovan, you know, because remember, just like how Rosie have all the secrets as it relates to Donovan, Donovan also have all the secrets as it relates to Andrew Wallace, you know.
Definitely.
No, I want you to know that Donovan know much more, I mean, serious situation that can bring down Andrew Wallace, you know. So there is no way, shape, nor form that Andrew Wallace can discipline Donovan. There is no way, shape, nor form that Andrew Wallace can discipline Vaz, Darrell Vaz. There is no way, shape, or form that Andrew Wallace can discipline Bobby Montague. And generally speaking, there is no way, shape, nor form that the Prime Minister that the Prime Minister can take out any disciplinary action against anyone in the party. And tell me why. Tell me why, Carla. Let me allow you to talk.
Because the Prime Minister himself is a leader in this criminal empire.
Me not tell you say you're a prudent fellow.
His wealth is so much that not even the Integrity Commission can track it down. Integrity Commission asks Mocha and Financial Investigations Division to help them because they say they don't have the resources and the tentacles to cover the Prime Minister's wealth. So
There you
you
go.
can just imagine now, 2026, his wealth would have further expanded.
And have the Integrity Commission investigators that tell them about his income, assets, and liability are just $200 million. The Prime Minister is a billionaire. How much billion, I don't know, but the Prime Minister is a billionaire.
If the Jamaican people had listened to Dr. Peter Phillips, we wouldn't have this problem with Andrew Wallace, a colossal failure. Peter Phillips told us when he was running that Andrew Wallace has amassed illegal money and the property he purchased at Beverly Hills and built. Those monies were unquestionable monies.
Yes.
And the same SSL was calling that matter because SSL was always being used as a money laundering organization.
Yes.
I doubt that the Prime Minister put any money in SSL, you know. SSL just said, allow me to do all these criminal things and steal people's money, and your money is automatically there. You get your commission. So he didn't need to put a dollar in SSL. All he had to do was allow you, Cronysm, to steal as much as he can or could, including the old woman's money who had sold the property, and her portion of money went directly to SSL. She sold her father's estate, and the other siblings got their portion, and she found it conveniently to go to New Kingston and give you Cronysm her money. And you Cronysm go up and say everything is okay, and she went back 5 times to retrieve her money because she smelled blood. She realized that something was wrong, and she couldn't get it back. And this guy is free like a bird in the tree right now. A person who does that to anybody under normal circumstances would probably have to spend the rest of their lives in prison or 10, 15 years. And those are multiple clients he did it with.
And the Prime Minister is trying his best to protect him, you know. And yet the Prime Minister out there telling people about the financial meltdown and telling people about FinSac. How FinSac, right, is the greatest system that used against the poor, the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. Hey, when you look at a situation like this and see how the Prime Minister hypocritical on the part that he played, right, in the 90s financial meltdown, and using the same players of the 90s financial meltdown. You can see the hey, look here, man. Trust me, Jamaican blood a boil. Where it comes to the Prime Minister. To deceive the people like this. You understand? And you know, my problem that I am so upset, Carla, with civil society, right? Not coming out forcefully, right? To stop the Prime Minister. The PSOJ.
You know, I must say that the facts that were leveled at Philbert Dalrymple, she's now in the Ministry of Justice. She's a state minister in the Ministry of Justice now, you know, on constitutional affairs. The allegations against Donovan Williams are far more serious than Dalrymple.
No, that's serious. That's serious.
Embezzling of public funds.
Yeah, that is extremely serious. All these charges, right? No, it's really serious. No, we are here discussing, you know, and I don't think might be people really understand the gravity of the seriousness, you know. You understand as it relates to Rosie leveling those allegations, right, against Donovan Williams, right? Very, very, extremely serious. Extremely serious. And I think that Donovan is trying to stop the thing from continue to bleed.
Yeah, from flowing, but it's gone already. It cannot be turned back.
No, it can't. It can't.
It's gone in internet's land.
It gone.
It's gone in spaces all over the world.
And this case is showing up a lot of people right now as it relates to their inaction. Their inaction in proceeding in terms of in terms of charging.
People are also,
sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
People are also wondering if the formula Donovan Williams is using in his constituency is similar to those of other GLP members of parliament.
I would say yes.
Adapting aspects of Donovan Williams' modus operandi.
Yeah, I would say yes. The MO seems to be fit. And as you talk about the modus operandi, right, I can give you a perfect example. If you understand the situation as it relates to Bobby Montague case, where the police vehicle, right, was driving away with ballots, right, and some of the people were running down the ballots. So you can see might be not the burning down of homes, but the sort of intimidation tactics that they have been using, driving fear into people, right? And of course, it spread all over. Yes, Carla, go ahead.
I would suggest that Steve McGregor, who is the caretaker for Central Kingston, I think he should revitalize and reinvigorate himself and make a public statement on the matter and expect that there will be a by-election within the constituency, because these allegations are serious enough that it would trigger the resignation of Donovan Williams.
I like the course.
So he should come out and make a statement, Steve McGregor.
Sorry, I like the course of action that you mentioned a while ago. I know I am going to call Steve later and talk with Steve in terms of that development. I'll be calling Steve later as I come off, right, and have a conversation with him, because what you said, you know, is true, right? I think Steve McGregor, you understand, need to insert his input right now in terms of having this man being investigated, right, and where you need to step aside and based on the outcome of the case, right? Then, of course, a by-election is going to be automatic. A by-election is going to be automatic. So the course of action that you had suggested, right, I think that is an appropriate course of action.
accountable now.
Oh, yes.
People should come out in their droves.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Oh, yes. I agree with you.
Okay, Mystic.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for
Conversation really wonderful. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yes. So let us go back because we just reached a paragraph 1. We still a breakdown Rosie response to Donovan Williams. Right? So make we stay upon that now. Now, the cease and desist obtained by Observer Online was dated Thursday, March 26. Right? That means yesterday, you know, people, while we were talking, this was happening yesterday. And alleges that Williams has engaged in repeated, so it's pretty much consistent and unwelcome contact, which has caused Hamilton to fear for her safety, intimidation. The man are using, you know, bad man government, you know. So you can see as it relates to his character profile that this man really and truly sort of like, you know, the bully business, the bad man business, right? Because as according to Rosie, Rosie said that he said to her that, Rosie, you have your bad man, you have your gunman friend. He not say bad man. You have a gunman friend, and me have my gunman friend. You understand? You know, technically seems like it's a threat. You understand? Being, you know, discreetly sent to Rosie in terms of that conversation there. It comes the same day that Williams' attorney filed a defamation suit against Hamilton in the Supreme Court, requesting damages and injunction to restrict Hamilton from what they describe as continued defamatory comments. So you see, he's trying all his best in order to not make Hamilton pursue, right? So in her letter, Hamilton demanded that Williams immediately cease and desist from any and all direct or indirect contact with her. So what Rosie has said to him, you know, Rosie has said, listen, me now, me not look no friend, you know. You understand? Me no, you know, look here, me and you are no friend, you know. Right? So what all of this again shows a lot of things. Because this now, particularly Rosie seems to be telling Donovan, you know, that she's not going to backtrack on what she are doing. You know. So here we go now. Leave me alone. Come out of my space. You understand? You understand? Me don't want to hear nothing from you. Don't come in my space. As a matter of fact, I am feeling intimidating when you are in my space. Don't come in my space. Now, Hamilton attorney noted that should the alleged contact continue, Hamilton could pursue legal action and requested Williams written compliance within 24 hours. Hey, let me say, Rosie, don't wait for no compliance for me now. I would suggest that you proceed. Proceed, Rosie, proceed. Right, because this is telling me now that, right, you have not proceeded in terms of speaking to investigators. Right, and also push it to the DPP. Go and report it to the DPP. The DPP is going to say, well, okay, all right, go to such and such and have it reported. We should know, say, but you want extra layer of protection. And you want to also bring the DPP in the picture. You understand? To make sure that the DPP are aware. So it's a matter of awareness. This is why I'm saying, you understand, as a counselor, right? Speak to the DPP. Find the DPP office, right? And speak to the DPP. Because remember, you know, you are dealing with a high-profile person that is highly connected to the Prime Minister himself. And where, right, this is one of the Prime Minister henchman. Right? So you have to take that in consideration, that you are going up against persons who has the ability, the capacity to inflict harm. Bear that in mind, Rosie, that you are going up against persons who has the ability and the capacity to inflict harm. So what you need to do, that your actions need to be public, made public. That means say anything happen to you, right? They know where to look, and the public, right, is looking on. So you have to use the public, right, as a sort of shield to bring awareness of the situation, so that anything that you are doing, be in the public space, right, being aware. That means, watch out. If anything should happen to Rosie, we know why it is happening, why it has happened, right? So, Rosie, I am telling you, right, make sure that you bring out all of the tentacles, all of the possible tentacles of protection. That's what I am talking about, Rosie. Surround yourself with the tentacles, right, of protection, right? So, in another correspondence, directly responding to an earlier cease and desist issued by MP Williams on March 24, right? And you know, say, March 24, Hamilton attorneys claim that his characterization of her statement as defamatory was itself defamatory. Hey, they not talk that. Rosie, remember some talk that, you know. Because basically they want to call you liar. And defame them and defame you, you know. And I say you tell lie and Donovan Williams, you know. So me love Rosie, I wonder if you listen to me. Like you listen to me, you know, Rosie. Remember, I spoke about this, right? And I asked them, particularly the lawyer who signed the letter, how do you know that Rosie is lying? How do you know that Rosie is lying? And here it is, in another correspondence, directly responding to an earlier cease and desist issued by MP Williams on March 24. Hamilton attorney claimed that his characterization of her statements as defamatory was itself defamatory. This lawyer, right, trust me, know our stuff. Because when I look on the first letter that Donovan Williams lawyer kind, I am saying that she partially accusing her as a liar without even speak to Rosie and have an understanding of Rosie's side of story, right? And see the lawyer, see them pick it up here, the very same thing that I was addressing. Now, Williams cease and desist had demanded an apology and retraction for the content of the voice notes shared in the group, of which both Hamilton and the MP were participants. So then look here now. Donovan Williams, if you have sense, you know, as a lawyer, if you have sense, you know, I don't know if the case that bother you so much that you start on idiot. Remember, when this was communicated in the WhatsApp group, remember that Mrs. Hamilton know that you were a participant of the group, you know, and know that you have access to the information. She didn't hide it. As a matter of fact, she wanted you to hear. She wanted you to hear it. It is not a situation that you understand. She say these things, right, so-called behind your back. She was upfront, blunt. And remember that the Prime Minister had vouched for our bluntness, right? And that she's been frank. Remember that the Prime Minister vouched for that, you know. So what you're getting from Rosie is also what the Prime Minister, right, had spoken about Rosie, confirming in terms of Rosie's frankness to speak and speak the truth. Remember that the Prime Minister endorsed this, you know. So then, Mr. Williams, I don't know what you are saying here. You want her to what? Retract her statement, right? Where she knows, say, definitely, right, you are in earshot of what she's saying, and she did not hesitate, right? She knows that you're a liar, you know. And in spite of she knows that you are a liar, that did not deter her from speaking, right, into a group where you were a participant. So what are you talking about? No. citing a reckless disregard for the truth. Again, this is why now the lawyer is saying, no, you defamed her. And they now are asking you to take back this reckless disregard for the truth. Now you are saying that Rosie is a diabolical liar. This is what you are saying now, Mr. Williams. Here it is. Citing a, open quote, a reckless disregard for the truth, close quote. So then now you are accusing her and you are defaming her, right? As it relates to her being a reckless liar, right? And so then you're going to have to take back that. You're going to have to take back that. Because remember, investigation needs to be done. The case needs to put into the judiciary. And a case needs to proceed. Let the chips fall where they may. Now, after the chips fall where they may, right? If it happened that you successful, well, fine. You can do what you want. But providing that Rosie is successful, well, there it is. Right? As it relates to you now accuse her of reckless, right, disregard for the truth, calling her a diabolical liar. Hamilton's attorneys said her statements are grounded in her direct first-hand experience as the counselor for the Raytown division. It continued, as an elected representative, our client owes a duty of absolute transparency to her political group and stakeholders. The communications in question were an exercise of that duty aimed at ensuring accountability and the proper administration of public resources within the constituency. Now, this serious now. Hold on, the people want to come back here, so. Want to come back here, so now. I love all, look here. The lawyer is so on point. Look at this. I love this paragraph. I love this paragraph. This gonna bed for me. Look at it. Now, it continues. No, let us read the previous paragraph and then we get back down into the juice, because this juicy, this is very juicy, Citing a reckless disregard of the truth, right? Hamilton's attorney said her statement, right, are grounded in her direct, right? So the what's her name again? Name slipped me, right? Is Rosie lawyer, He's saying this, Said her statement are grounded in her direct first-hand experience as the counselor for the Raytown division. Now it continued, As an elected representative, come now, see the juice here, see the juice here. As an elected representative, our client owes a duty of absolute transparency. So that means what the lawyer is saying, that what Rosie is defending, right, is speaking out as it relates to transparency in terms of what she identified and what she's going to speak up against and what she's speaking up against to her political group and stakeholders, to make them be aware of what is taking place. So as according to Rosie, right, that she owed that to her political group and stakeholders, to be transparent to them, Now look here, the communications in question, people, were an exercise of that duty in terms of holding Donovan Williams accountable as a counselor. Her duty relies on that. And here, people, aimed at ensuring what? Accountability. Accountability and what? The proper administration of public resources. So what this is saying, you know, that based on how Donovan Williams utilized public resources, right, was not properly done, you know. That it breached SOP, standing orders. It breaches standing orders or the rules or guidelines as it relates to how, right, you administrate public resources, you know. A whole heap of thing. This I tell me say, right? Mrs. Hamilton know, you know. A whole heap of things she know, you know, been happening, you know, within her constituency. Hamilton went on to deny that she had published or authorized the dissemination of any material to TikTok and maintain that she was legally and practically disabled from removing content she did not upload, which is true. And she put them out. The attorneys expressed hope that good sense will prevail, adding that a public trial would necessitate the exhaustive disclosure and discovery process inherent in such process. Hey! Why, people? See it here? Remember, say I find yesterday we are talking about them things, I know. See it here, people? Because Donovan Williams, let me ask you, how are you going to manage now in the process of discovery? See it here, people? The attorneys express hope that good sense will prevail, adding that a public trial would necessitate the exhaustive disclosure and discovery processes inherent in such proceedings. Mighty God. Jamaica people, me tell you, say the thing I go get worse in our top. In our top, because right now, Rosie of the under, and Donovan hold on upon the blade. Rosie of the under, right? And Donovan hold on upon the blade. And it's worse if Rosie have witness, right? Let me stop from shares and talk for a while. Jamaica people, come and talk. Come and talk, because as I said, this is extremely serious and it is getting out, and people, it is coming like, I don't know. It's coming like I'm a prophet. I'm not a prophet, you know. So let me say that. It's just to the fact that in terms of experience and my knowledge on certain things, you understand, I can just foresee certain things and know, say, see the situation here. This situation, people, I want you to listen to me. Remember, as I am telling you right now, this particular situation of the ability to take down Andrew Holness administration, known to be about this. This is not something like as it relates to Azan, right, where Andrew Holness talk about dark clouds overhead and rare, blah, blah, blah. This is extremely serious. People need to know how serious this is. You're accused. Listen, the accusation is about, you understand, a member of parliament, a sitting member of parliament involved in arsenic, burning down people's homes. A sitting member of parliament associated with gunmen, an arsonist. What? Look here. Let me tell you something. If this happened in any first world country, United States, England, or blah, 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 this is going to pass prison. And right now, I can bet anyone right now, the sort of conversation behind curtains. Jamaica, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. They have to go down on their knees and beg Rosie to stop. It's up to Rosie, right? Which I am telling Rosie, don't listen to them. push on, Rosie, accelerate. Put your foot on the gas. Right? And I am telling you everything, particularly Rosie, in terms of what he had done yesterday. When I was talking, he was doing that yesterday. The double down because of pride, you know. Pride, shame face, pride, where you know definitely that Rosie have the bill and receipt. Eh? Now, let me tell you something. And let me talk to my people in terms of what they need to anticipate for. Don't anticipate, right? Andrew Holness is going to discipline, right? Donovan Williams. It is not going to happen. It will never happen. It will never happen because it just can't happen. And why it can't happen? Because Andrew Holness himself is the head of all of this. The head of all of this. And you and I don't know, right? As it relates to the amount of arsenal that Rosie has against them. One thing for sure, let us ask a question, right? Let us, critique the whole situation. The conversation that Mrs. Holness had with Rosie, and Rosie said, no, I am not going to participate in that. Babsy Grange was asked to speak to Rosie. Babsy Grange went and spoke to Rosie. And Rosie said no. The Prime Minister himself, including Donovan, spoke to Rosie. And Rosie said no. Think, Jamaica people. What was the conversation about? What was the conversation about? If the conversation was for Rosie to agree, and remember now, you understand, we are just thinking this through, right? So I don't want anyone to process this to say that, okay, all right, this is so, right? We are just speaking now, we are just reasoning. But if the conversation surrounding, right, a shift in voting block, and in order to do that, right, then some of the people going to have to lift up. We are talking layman terms now. Some of the people have to lift up out of this song. Because if they don't lift up out of the constituency, PNP is going to win. And in order to make PNP win, right, then people have to lift up. So here we are now. Do this and do that and do that. Rosie may not be in agreement with that. Rosie may not be in agreement with that. Because in spite of that, you're talking about, destroying people's livelihood. Rosie is just don't willing to take it to that level. Yeah, she will deal with a little gutter politics here and there, you understand, because the cut and thrust of the politics. But when it comes to that, and so then if that conversation should come out later, that was the element, right, of the conversation, the Prime Minister is in serious trouble. Babsy Grange would be in serious trouble. Donovan would be in serious trouble. Because if you are colluding to change a political landscape, because remember, one of the reasons why I'm saying this is because it is this very same intention that they wanted to do in Portmore. Remember, people, Warmington wanted to change that political landscape. think of what I'm saying, people. Wilmington wanted to change that political landscape. Right? And they were making serious move towards doing that. So if it is a very same situation as it relates to, you know, why Rosie said, no, man, we are not going to do that. Right? And this is one of the reasons, to be frank, right? My heart is a little light when it comes to Rosie in saying that, okay, yeah, people might say, yeah, Rosie, right, did not do this. And which I understand their point, because they have legitimate point, even particularly where my wife is concerned. My wife made a legitimate point, right, that caused me to really think, right, when my wife said she had been seated in it for quite some time, over a protracted period, and she did not come out, right, and speak out against the corruption then. Why now? Because of the bitterness. When you hear something like that and you rationalize that, you have to give it some credence. You understand? To say, well, I mean, you can look at that. I mean, it is true, yes, in terms of she, right, did not come out and so forth and so forth. But again, as it relates to now moving forward, right, and the conversation relating to, as I said, I don't know the specific conversation, but if conversation as it relates to whatever it relates to, right, Rosie just decided that she was not going to be a part and parcel of whatever that conversation was. But what it tells you and I, who are listening today, that Rosie separated himself from that particular plan. But if you notice, the Prime Minister, Babsy Grange, and Donovan Williams were a part of the plan and wanted for Rosie to be a part of the plan. So where it sets the Prime Minister, Babsy Grange, and Donovan Williams, in the bracket being ruthless and destructive. Where does it set Rosie? Someone who decided that, no, at least I have a moral compass. I am not going to do that. I am not going to do that. And you can see that there was strong influence, that the Prime Minister himself participated. No, so it goes back to my line of argument in saying that the Prime Minister, look here, we will be totally naive to want to believe that Andrew Holness would want to have Donovan discipline. No, it is not going to happen. I can assure you that. Under no circumstances that will never happen. Donovan Williams and Delroy Williams are protectors of the Prime Minister. They protected him of his wrongdoing. They shield him. They guide him. And let me tell you, to prove my point, if you remember the situation with Juliet Holness at Lee's flat, where Juliet Holness never have the permit to build certain amount of apartment there, you know. Right? He did that under the supervision of Delroy Williams. Come on, remember the people. People more want to remember. Because why? Delroy Williams offered her, Juliet Holness, the protection. Because he was the mayor of the KSMAC. And that is one of the reasons why when the GLP lose the KSMAC, that was really a big defeat for them. Because of what is going to be unfolding. Let me tell you something, Jamaica people, right? I am looking on some things, right, as it relates to, I'm going to carry out next week, as it relates to the amount of persons in case they may see that have been investigated by the Integrity Commission investigators in the normal. And ask me, I ask you, I'm going to bring out the document. The amount of them is to show you how rampant the corruption was. The corruption was so rampant, unbelievable. And remember also that Andrew Holness breach, right, has also breach relating to that, relating to the building code. You understand? It is not only Juliet Holness breach, Andrew Holness breach. So I am telling you, as it relates to the head of the party, and this is one of the reasons why, when we look at the Jamaican Labour Party administration, we can now classify it as a banana republic. One of the reasons why we classify it as a banana republic, because remember that the Prime Minister, right, who is the Prime Minister for the country, is under this sort of investigation. Both the Prime Minister, what people don't understand, because people keep on concentrating on Andrew Holness cannot cannot have his statutory declaration certified. And people keep on forgetting, right? Let me just have Legris speak to from the visual here. Legris said, please like up the live. Now, let me say this to you as it relates to the Prime Minister, that many of us only concentrating on the Prime Minister, right, as it relates to his statutory declaration not being certified. A lot of people don't aware that, okay, the Prime Minister and Juliet Holness, they filed together. They filed together, Jamaica. So what it is saying, that neither Prime Minister Andrew Holness nor his wife can be certified. That's what it is saying, my Jamaican people. It is saying to us, the Prime Minister, along with his wife, cannot be certified. What makes matters worse, and where other Caribbean countries now scorn the system, because this is what other prime ministers, right, and people, right, and particularly diaspora, right, they are saying that, just imagine, the Prime Minister and the wife cannot have their statutory declaration certified, and the Prime Minister, right, he's the person who in charge of the executive. The wife, right, in charge as it relates to the legislature, right? And so then what I think is going to happen to the justice. So when Mystic Sensation said, I don't understand why we allowed a system where the executive sleeping with the legislature, and both of them, the executive and the legislature, is effing the judiciary. Now you understand why I'm speaking in that regard, because that should have never happened. That should have never happened, right? How do we as a society allow that? And that is unbelievable, because that sort of situation would have never happened in no first world country. And as we see, as it relates to the Caribbean, that has never happened. Right? And then you know that the Jamaican Labour Party, as a little thing about them, it is the first in the history of this and this and that. And while they are speaking so boldly, right, and giving that sort of a firmness, you said, okay, all right, let us put on some checks and balance and accountability and transparency on the situation in terms of what they have been boasted about. So when Christopher Tufton came out, and never yet in the history of the politics that, right, as it relates to healthcare, we moved the healthcare budget from 60 billion, right, to $147 billion. And the people, because he shouted out in the air with that sort of a firmness, right, people, you know, like their lab rats, right, just, yeah, great has been done. But when I look at it, He said, but nothing has been done with the healthcare system. Right? I mean, look, Conal Original started at $2 billion. Refurbishing, we are talking about. People, listen to what I'm saying. We are talking about refurbishing, right, from $2 billion with a projected cost of $23 billion. And guess what? Still not able to be completed. Still not able to be completed. So they have the tendency, right? Even today in the Senate, how they started out in the Senate, how Labrat started out in the Senate, right? For the 10 years, Andrew Holness, and it was so disgusting. No, that everything that he's saying is just callous lies. Huh? And you say, I mean, come on. You realize that because the society allowed them to do it. So what they feel now, they feel so emboldened to continue. Because you know what? Andrew Holness have gotten away with, the influence awarding contracts, right? To Donovan, right? And where the corruption prosecutor helped him to get off of the case by not putting the case in the judiciary and claimed a flimsy excuse as it relates to abuse of process, right? Did not put the case in the court and have the judge decided, right? If she was for checks and balance and serious, whatever evidence that she had collected, right, she's going to put it into the court for the judge to make a determination. She becomes judge right then and there, judging the situation. Saying that the judge, you understand, saying that, okay, the case is not going to this, not that, blah, blah, which was wrong. And so then, I mean, the Integrity Commission, the entire Integrity Commission ecosystem was shattered by what the corruption prosecutor had done. To show you that the Integrity Commission, right, system has to warn her, to tell her not to reapply. Why did you believe that they told her not to reapply? Because of course the evidence that they had collected was really, reasonable for it to be placed in the court, and she shouldn't serve herself as a protector for Andrew Holness. And so then these are the things that we have to call out when we see that, right? As it relates to Andrew Holness hold on to a portion of the criminal justice system, squeezing the life in terms of where we are totally not able to get any justice. So then this case now, as it relates to Rosie case, is now a big embarrassment, right, for the Jamaica Labour Party. And I can assure you all that if Rosie, right, insists that she's going to pursue, well, let me say this. Rosie is not worrying about anything, because Rosie knows that he has Donovan balls, Andrew Holness balls, right, in her hands. And all she needs to do, squeeze. And let me say this, I'm going to make a prediction which I don't like it. I don't like it. But I hope Rosie hold out and decided that, look, me now go back down. Because Donovan will never ever pursue. Me not ask him that. I tell him. You can't push you and talk about your rare blah 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 with Rosie. Right? Because you are going to be embarrassed. And from once Rosie, right? From once you're in the court, and Rosie, if Rosie to win that case, social media is going to, you understand, create a tsunami. Because if Rosie win that case, what do you think social media is going to do? Right? Pressure. As it relates to where, you understand, you need to be investigated and charged. As a matter of fact, simultaneously, as it relates to a civil matter proceeding, Rosie can also proceed with a criminal matter. And I am telling Rosie, right? Hold them where it's hurt, Rosie. Because if I were you, I am going to report it, right, to the senior superintendent of police in charge of the constituency. Leave a report at the police station, right? Also report it to the superintendent. Building awareness. Building awareness. Right? That means the chain of how you are going to report it, you have a lot of persons aware of it. So no any one person, you understand, seems like they want to, you understand, sweep the case under a rug. Because that person, right, also know about it. And that is one of the reasons why I'm telling you to do that. Right? And for me, look for the DPP, Katie and Spikes, to report it too. Right? Because Katie and Spikes is a very serious prosecutor as well. Right? Yeah, man. Use up all the tentacles of protection. I am telling you, Rosie, what to do. Use up the tentacle. You have the lawyer, right? And I don't like the lawyer is only just threatening. The lawyer, I need a lawyer to be more assertive in terms of push. Because, when I am dealing with certain things, I dot all my I's and cross all my T's. Right? In terms of my investigation, I can tell people I'm not, beating my own arm. Right? But I can tell you that 95% of the time in terms of me investigating, right, any cases that I investigate, right, I make sure I pay attention in terms of dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's. And trust me, the outcome is what I always anticipate. Right? Because of how careful, right, I am. And so then I am telling Rosie that, Rosie, you have the handle. They have the blade. Right? And their intimidation is going to only make your blood boil. Right? And remember, your lawyer know that too, I don't know what your lawyer is looking at. But information, as a matter of fact, Rosie, I am telling you something. You have to be prudent, Rosie. Let me speak to you. All material, this is a reason why I'm telling you to do this, Rosie. Listen to my advice. Please. All the material evidence that you have on both Donovan, if any, and the Prime Minister, be in the process of properly organize them and make sure you hand all of them over to your lawyer. And you know what I need to do? Keep a copy. So everything that you are doing, right? Please have a copy so you can keep a personal file for yourself. If you don't know how to do it, right, you can ask a daughter or someone to help you in terms of making sure that all material evidence being collected, prepared, and well organized. Right? Because the report is very simple, date, time, and place. Right? And so then you organize them in that chronological sequence. What happened, right, in year 1, what happened in year 2, what happened in year 3, and you build that chronological sequence. And make sure, say, you're equipped, you're ready. Every single receipt, right, that you have any material evidence, Rosie, gather them, prepare them, right, and make sure, right, you disseminate it to your lawyer, right, and do your following report. That means, guess what? You hold under. Yes, man. Make them seed. Make them testicles fall in your hand. Right? And the only thing what you need to do is just squeeze. That's all you need to do. Well, my Jamaican people, let me say, we are going to be coming back with more. Again, because I have exceeded my time over 16 minutes. But it was a pleasure to come and speak up about the development. Right? And as I said, people believe it. This is not going to be ending anytime soon. And this is just not a bomb. It's indeed a tsunami, right? That has the potential, right, to cause a firestorm in the Jamaica Labour Party, right? I can tell you that as it relates to Rosie, Rosie has the key for the chess, and trust me, she just need to just put it in clockwise, right? Lock it up and anti-clockwise to open it. You have the key, Rosie, right? And you just know how to use your key. So I am saying, as it relates to today's program, we come to an end, and we hope for later will be greater. We'll be running out with more stuff, right? So people who wanted to be to tune in later as well, right? We'll be back, right, with more stuff, right? And as I said, this thing is not going away soon, right? Once again, I want to say big thanks for all the persons who really, come on, spend time with Mystic Sensation, right? So thank you very much. Really appreciate it, right? And this time I'm out. Love you all, right? See you later. Will be greater. Blessings.
I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.